Greetings to everyone, I'm Nimisha from HE20, one of the members from Group 5. This video is our group presentation for GT00703 Microeconomics. Our research is about article empirical rejection of mainstream economics core postulates on price, firm profits, and market structure by Jacqueline Williams James. First, let me introduce our group member. The first is Chen Wan Chen, second, Chua Kwak Jae-ying, then Goh Pei Kei, Q Ying-ying, me, Lim Mi-shan, and the last is Tiong Yin Leong. We are all from HE20. Then I would like to introduce what have we done. First, we must know that mainstream economics was begun by Adam Smith, which allude to the universal or neoclassical economic traditions, in which markets are guided by an invisible hand and all agents are rationals. Our group project is about observational dismissal of standard financial aspect centers proposed on costs, firms' benefits, and market structures. And we are focusing on market structures, perfect competitions, and monopolistic competitions. Perfect competitions is a large number of little firms compete against and one another with homogeneous items. However, monopolistic competition is an enormous number of small firms compete against one another with separate items.
One of the market structure mentioned in the article is perfect competition. Perfect competition market is a market or industry where a large number of sellers and buyers buy or sell a good that is identical at a certain place set by the market. There is no barriers to entry and exit the market. No obstacle can prohibit firms from entering and exiting the market. In the short run, it is possible for economic profits to be positive, zero, or negative. When price is greater than average total cost, the firm is making a profit. When price is less than average total cost, the firm is making a loss in the market. In order to maximize profits in perfect competition market, firm sets marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, MR equal to MC. Over the long run, if firms in a perfect competition market are earning positive economic profits, more firms will enter the market, which will shift the supply curve to the right. As the supply curve shifts to the right, the equilibrium price will go down. As the price goes down, economic profits will decrease until they become zero. When price is less than average total cost, firms are making a loss. Over the long run, if firms in a perfect competition market are earning negative economic profits, more firms will leave the market, which will shift the supply curve left. As the supply curve shifts left, the price will go up. As the price goes up, the economic profits will increase until they become zero.
Holistic competitiveness refers to an economic market in which several business options simulate but radically different groups. When determining the competitiveness of a market, this kind of this option between an openly competitive market and a complete monopoly. With monopolistic competitive, not one company has a total monopoly within its market, and companies have not only a limited degree of power over the price, their chance of their service. The monopoly graph is situationally identical to the short-term equilibrium in the left-hand panel. The short distinction is the damage of a monopoly competitive business is a reality, elastic, or flat. Other way, the profit maximizing alternative is the same as a monopoly in the short term. The company assures the margin revenue equal margin cost, establishes a product level term QSR, a chase a pitch called PSR. The colorful rectangle refers the profit level. The long round equilibrium is shown in the right-hand panel. Other formulas drawn until profit equals 0 as which time total revenue equals all costs. Consequently, at the profit optimum long run quantity QRI, the damage cost is tangent to the average cost, which margin revenue and margin cost are the same as their are at QRI. The quantity that will make the most money in the long run is the found.
My name is Q Ying, so now I would like to present about the concept that mentioned in the article that related to the chapter Cost and Production. One of the concepts is return to scale. As it mentioned in the article, mainstream economics is the case for assumption on the general pattern of behavior of firms' average cost in relation to return to scale and price theory. Return to scale in economics is the variation or change in productivity that is the outcome of a proportion increase of all of the input. In the other word, return to scale refers to a proportion between the increase in total input and resulting increase in output. There are three kinds of return to scale, which are increasing return to scale, constant return to scale, and decreasing return to scale. Increasing return to scale is a situation when an increase in inputs leads to a bigger proportional increase in output. For example, to produce a particular product, if the quantity of inputs is double and the increase in output is more than double. Just like shown in the first diagram, with the red line in curve D, the return to scale will be termed as increasing return to scale. Next, move to the constant return to scale in diagram 2. Constant return to scale is when an increase in input results in a proportional increase in output. For instance, in the case of constant return to scale, when the inputs are double, the output is also double. Constant returns to scale occur when increasing the number of inputs lead to an equivalent increase in the output. The third kind of return to scale is decreasing return to scale. Decreasing return to scale occur when increasing inputs lead to a proportionally smaller increase in output. For example, to produce a particular product, if the quantity of inputs is double, but the output generated is less than double, just like shown in the third diagram with the green line in curve D, it is said to be decreasing return to scale. As a summary, return to scale will depend on the average cost. When it is rising, therefore, business has decreasing return to scale, while when it is falling, then there is increasing return to scale. At the minimum point of the cost curve, there is constant return to scale. So that's all for my part, so I would like to pass it to the next presenter.
I am Choi from HE20. The title I want to present today is one of the concepts of cost and production, which is price theory. Price theory claims that the price of any service is determined by the supply and demand connections. The average cost price theory means that a company charges a maximum amount to its customer based on the average unit cost of manufacturing. The rule is normally only used for natural or legal monopoly like public utility, so that price do not get set or other monopolistic advantage cannot be taken. The supply curve on the market has moved to the right. Now, let's look at it from the firm viewpoint. The company must accept market pricing as it is. So, the company must accept P1 as well, since that is the market price. AR equal MR curve is moved down until the market price is matched. This is where point B is. Most new businesses do not start out until the large profits are gone. At point B, something happens. It is because point B has the lowest unit cost. Since it is the lowest price point, the company might lower the price. P equal MC is used to make a regular profit. Company cannot charge less because they would not make enough money to stay in business over time. As a result, a competitive market is both allocatively and productively efficient in the long term.
My name is Chow and Chek, so now I would like to present the main part in this project. In the Journal of the Empirical Rejection of Mainstream Economic Core Postulates on Price, Firm, Profit, and Market Structure, present the standard model or explanatory theory of the core paradigm of the general equilibrium of competitive market. According to the journal, the assumption of the price of product and the kind of the market by addressing empirical fact are two fundamental components of the mainstream economics theoretical standard model that are connected. The first core assumption is to explain how a company price corresponds its unit cost, and as a result, the profit margin of a business, while the second core assumption depicts the different type of market along with the perfect competition and monopolistic competition. Hence, the aim is to prove real-world economic observation of the overall pattern of firm behavior. Based on the data presented in the article, an ideal market, also known as an atomistic market, is defined by a set idealizing requirement collectively known as perfect competition, or atomistic competition in economic, specifically wide equilibrium theory. In the theoretical model where condition or perfect competition hold, it has been exhibited that a market will reach an equilibrium where the amount provided for each item or service, including labor, equal the quantity demand at the ongoing cost. Besides that, the concepts mentioned in the article that are related to cost and production are returning to scale and price theory. Return to scale in economic is variety or change in efficiency that is the result of proportionate increment of the entirety of the input. Increasing return to scale (IRS), constant return to scale (CRS), and decreasing return to scale (DRS) are the three kinds of return to scale. The price theory is concept of cost and production economy that claims that the supply and demand relation determine the price of any commodity or service.
In conclusion, we know that market structure of the perfect competition and monopolistic competition is completely different. In market structure of perfect competition, the seller decision will not affect the market price because the purchaser and seller have complete product information and it doesn't lack of supplier. However, monopolistic competition will affect the market price because there is limited production and only one supplier. Apart from that, we obtain that firms will vary their output according to the market. When the market demand changes, firm will change its output brought about the change of various production factors within the enterprise in the same proportions under the conditions of other conditions remaining unchanged, called return to scale. Lastly, there are many factors that will change the price. For example, raw material. Supplier will be affected by the raw material availability and demand may be influenced by the availability of raw resources. I think that's all from us. Thank you for your time for watching our video.